Hello there, welcome to The Window. My name is Amy and today we are going to be talking about The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. This will be a spoiler-free review and I will also be posting a book babble, which is a very spoilery, in-depth sort of discussion about The Raven Boys because I have a lot of feelings. I can tell already it's probably going to be a bit of a long one. So I read The Raven Boys a few months ago at the end of last year. I loved it. Just to put it simply, there's not one thing I didn't like about it. The Raven Boys is the first book in the Raven cycle by Maggie Stiefvater. So The Raven Boys is about a girl called Blue who has grown up surrounded by psychics. Now Blue herself is not a psychic, but she's been told her entire life that she will cause her true love's death. And I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty dismal to me. But Blue perseveres, she goes through life, and every year on St. Mark's Eve, I believe, if it's incorrect I'll just tell myself here. That is a night where she goes with her mother, usually, to a graveyard where her mother watches the soon-to-be dead progress through the graveyard. Now, Blue is there to help amplify that connection her mother has between the ghosts, but she can't usually see them until one night where her aunt goes in her mother's place and Blue sees a boy and his name is Gansey, and she's told that the only reason a non-seer would see a ghost on that evening is if they were their true love or they killed them. And I was just really hooked by that idea. So Blue comes to know these boys called the Raven Boys, of which Gansey is a part. So the characters were by far my favourite thing about the book. The characters all have really realistic flaws and virtues, and it's a fantastic combination. Every single character has a redeeming quality, but every single character has a flaw. And I think that is very true to life and very realistic. None of the characters are entirely likable nor entirely dislikable, and that just causes me to love them. I don't know why. It is my pet peeve when an author overemphasizes a trait or a characteristic or a little habit or quirk that a character has because it caricatures the character, if that makes sense. The character no longer becomes relatable, but they become cartoonish, and it's almost as if they're saying,
"Oh, look at me, I've created this incredible little quirk of theirs, and I'm so great at writing characters because see that little detail over and over and over again? I really thought about that."
And the characters in this book have none of that, which is fantastic. All of their little quirks, which I love and are adorable, aren't overdone. They're not overused. They are really subtle and frequent enough for you to catch on them, but subtle enough that they're not in your face, which is really what people are like in real life. The little quirks and habits aren't the first thing you notice about a person usually. It's something you grow to learn about them as you get to know them better. And another thing about the characters, none of their personalities or roles or just existence within the book felt like it was convenient or that they were being used as a plot device. Speaking of plot devices, that plot, I was hooked from the very beginning to the very end. I can't remember a time in recent memory that I devoured a book so quickly or so eagerly either. I don't think I've had my mind blown so many times in just a couple hundred pages before. Because this is a spoiler-free review, I won't tell you what those mind-blowing moments were or any of the plot twists which I did not see coming, but that will be left to the book babble, which you can watch after this one. One of the reasons I read the book so quickly is because of Maggie Stiefvater's writing style. Oh my goodness. Oh wow. I don't even have enough words to describe how beautiful it is. It is just beautiful. It's so beautiful. I just want to like roll myself up in it and live there. She has this knack for putting previously indescribable feelings into words. There was just moments where I had to just stop and savor the taste of those words in my mouth and like say them aloud and just stop and appreciate the writing because it was just as well as being beautifully written. The Raven Boys engages in some pretty heavy and complex topics. I think it's pretty obvious from the start of the book that this book is about death. One of the first lines is, there's no reason to be afraid of dead people. And I think that's something that I really appreciated in this book. There's this dichotomy of obscene wealth and horrible poverty, which is an interesting dynamic between a lot of the characters. Something that really influences them and their opportunities and their outlook on life, and I really appreciated that. I don't think enough books deal with poverty and the obscene wealth and that massive contrast within American and Western society as a whole. It has themes like striving for individuality as a youth and self-determination and how you work to gain that. And it also deals with really horrible things like domestic abuse, really complex and philosophical topics like fate, and beautiful ones like love as well. There's some fantastic relationships between women and between men and between men and women in both romantic and non-romantic contexts. There's such great friendships within this book, and I think that's something that isn't appreciated enough in YA. I think friendships are sometimes the most important relationships, and they're ones that endure. One thing I had difficulty with was discerning a genre for the Raven Boys. I don't know whether it's fantasy or science fiction or mystery or what would you call it? Supernatural or horror, or there's just this, it's also like romance, and it's just a little bit of everything. And it has this fantastic contemporary foundation that really grounds the novel quite well and creates a sort of realism within the plot. The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater is simply beautiful. Alex from Magic and Books here on YouTube once told me, The Raven Boys is weird, but it's great. It's a strange but wonderful combination of creepy and adorable. And I think if you can appreciate the weirdness that makes it so engaging, I think you'll really come to love it as much as I did. So needless to say, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. So that is it for my spoiler-free review. If you've read it, let me know what your thoughts were in the description box. If you hated it, tell me. I'd love to hear why. Don't forget to check out my book babble if you don't mind spoilers. There I'll go a bit more into depth about certain events and characters and things that happen. It will probably be complete nonsense because I can't very easily express my feelings coherently. So we'll see how that goes. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I post videos pretty much every week, and it just lets you know when I post a new one. I hope you're having a lovely day and happy reading. Bye! And this will be, what is that? Did you guys hear that? Don't ask me what that was. A bit of a gush about, I hate that word, gush. Ugh. Ugh. Ugh.